Good morning, good year kindergartners. Welcome back to Science with Miss Auguste. Today we will be talking about things that plants need in order to survive or to stay alive. Let's get started by looking at our learning target for today. Our learning target today says, I will determine, and the word determine means to figure out. So I will determine or figure out what plants need in order to survive. The word survive simply means to stay alive. How will we know that we're successful? We will know that we're successful when we are able to name 5 things that plants need in order to live. So this would be our success criteria. We will know that we're successful when we can name the 5 things that plants need in order to survive. Now, to help us to understand what plants need in order to survive, we need to learn a few new words. These will be our vocabulary words for this lesson. And the first word that we will learn today is the word nutrients. Let's try to say that together. Nutrients. Can you say it with me again? Nutrients. Great. Now, nutrients is something that helps us to grow. And I'm going to go ahead and put the word nutrients up on the board so you can look at it. Nutrients. Plants need nutrients in order to grow. Our next word is the word survive. Here is the word survive. Let's say it together. Survive. Great. Here is the word survive. And survive means to stay alive. Our next word is a very big one. This word says photosynthesis. Listen again. Photosynthesis. Now let's try saying it together. Photosynthesis. Let's try that again. Photosynthesis. And I'm going to put the word photosynthesis up on the board. Photosynthesis. Okay? Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is how the plant makes its food. Okay, and we will talk a little bit more about that as we progress in our lesson today. Plants make their food through the process of photosynthesis, and that brings us to our next word. And our next word is process. Process. The word process means how you get something done, the steps that you take in order to get it done. So, let's see what our vocabulary words again. Nutrients, survive, photosynthesis, and process. Those are huge words, but I want you to learn vocabulary words so that when you're talking about plants, you can use the correct terms. Now, what are some things that you think a plant needs in order to survive? I want you to take a moment and I want you to turn to your mom or your sister, whoever is in the room with you, and tell them at least one thing that you think that a plant needs in order to survive. Talk about it for a minute. Great. Now, here is what a plant needs in order to survive. In order to survive, a plant needs the sun, it needs water, it needs air, it needs soil, and it needs nutrients. Okay? So those are the things that a plant needs in order to survive. Why does a plant need water? There are 2 reasons why plants need water. Plants use the water to keep their temperature steady. Now, if it gets too hot or if it gets too cold, the plants would not live, they will die. So plants use the water to regulate their temperature. Okay? Plants also use water to help the nutrients travel from the root all the way up, into the leaves. Okay? Now, what do you think will happen if plants don't get enough water? Have you ever seen a plant wilted and drying up? Now, here is a leaf that I plucked off one of my plants, and it didn't get any water. And as you see, it's all wilted and dried up. Now, this is what will happen if a plant doesn't get water. It will wilt, and then it would eventually die. So plants cannot live without water. We cannot live without water, and neither can the plants live without water. Now, here's a great way to figure out what will happen. You could take two plants, and you could put water on one and not put water on the other one, and leave them, keep watering one plant and not watering the other plant. And let's do that for a few days. And then when we come back, we will talk about what happened to the one that did not get the water. I will show you what will happen when the plants do not get water. Why do plants need air and sunlight? Plants make their own food by putting together the gas that we breathe out that is called carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not good for us because that's the bad air that we breathe out. We breathe in oxygen, which is good. We can't live without oxygen. So the plants, when we breathe out the carbon dioxide, which is the bad air, the plants breathe it in and they turn it into oxygen, which we need. So that's one reason why plants need air. They have to get that carbon dioxide. Plants are considered to be the things that clean up the air for us so that we can breathe. If there were no plants to take up all the carbon dioxide, we won't have any air to breathe. So they breathe in that carbon dioxide and they breathe out oxygen, which we need. Okay, now they use that air to help them to make their food. Remember the word process? There's a process that plants go through to make their food. That process is called photosynthesis. Now, the power or the energy that the plants need to make their food comes from the sun. So that's why plants need the sun. They get the energy from the sun. In addition to the sun and the water and the air, plants need nutrients. The nutrients come from the soil. The roots suck the nutrients up in with the water and brings it up and distributes it to the plant, but mainly in the leaves. Now the leaves have a green substance in them called chlorophyll. And chlorophyll traps the energy from the sun and helps the plant to make its own food. Plants are the only thing on earth that can make their own food. We do not make our own food. Our food comes from plants and then we eat other animals. But plants, they make their own food. Okay? We just prepare it and cook it, but plants make their own food. And the process is called photosynthesis. Okay, so plants get energy from the sun, and they also need that energy in order to stay warm. because if the plants are too cold, they will not grow. Now, if you notice in the winter time when we don't have a lot of sunlight and our days are shorter, the plants don't grow as much as they do in the spring and in the summer. So they need that warmth in order to grow. And in some places where it's very, very cold, plants don't grow at all because they don't have that energy and they don't have that warmth, so they die. If plants do not get light, especially sunlight, they will die. Why does a plant need soil? Soil has in it nutrients which the plant needs in order to live. So the roots suck up the nutrients from the soil through their roots and take it up into the leaves and into the rest of the plant. Just like we need nutrients. We get our nutrients when we eat apples and oranges and chicken. That's how we get our nutrients. Plants suck up their nutrients from the soil. Plants suck up their nutrients from the soil and take it into the leaves where they make their own food. The soil also helps to anchor the plant. And that means it helps the plant to stay in place, because if the plant is standing by itself with nothing around it, when the wind blows, it's going to tip over and it's going to fall. So the soil helps to anchor the plant or keep it in place. So, what did we learn today? Today we found out that plants need sunlight to keep them warm and to provide the energy that they need to make their own food. We also learned that plants are the only things that make their own food, but in order to do that, they have to go through a process called photosynthesis. Plants need warmth, they need air just like we need air, and they use carbon dioxide, which is the air that we breathe out, and we need the air that they breathe out, which is oxygen. They make it possible for us to be able to breathe. Now, in addition, plants need water to stay alive. They use the water to transport the nutrients from the soil up into all the parts of the plant. So let's take a minute and we are going to listen to a song that will help us to remember what plants need in order to survive. Let's listen to this song. Let's listen to this song. It's called What Plant Needs. What Plants Need. It needs water so it can grow, and it needs soil just like so. It needs space that can be tied. The sun helps plants by giving light. Don't forget to give plants air. Repeat the needs if you dare. Neither soil, space, light, air. So, let's go over what plants need in order to survive. Plants need sunlight because they take the energy from the sunlight and they use it for making their food. They also need the sun to help them to stay warm. They need the water in order to move the nutrients from the soil all the way up into the tips of the leaves and all the small parts of the plant. So they need water, they need sunlight. Plants need air. They use air as part of the process for making food called photosynthesis. So they need air to breathe. They breathe in air through tiny holes in the leaves. Plants also need nutrients. The nutrients are what they need to survive. We we need nutrients too. So we need soil, we need nutrients, we need water, we need air, and we need sunlight. Those are the things that plants need in order to survive.